Today we are going to hear the story of Suzane von Richthofen's former cellmate, and I am absolutely certain it will completely shock you. Can you even fathom a person so unbelievably cruel that they would be capable of kidnapping their own neighbor's son? Well, that person exists, and her name is Sandra Regina Ruiz Gomes. Today, at 32 years of age, Sandra weighs almost 200 pounds and exhibits a very different appearance. However, you would truly not believe her prior appearance, a stunning, slender woman adorned with flowing long blonde hair and the delicate features of an angelic face. Who would have thought that behind this beauty, a monster was hiding? Sandra's entire life took a drastic turn on October 21, 2003. And prepare yourself, because what you're about to hear now, it will make you angry. Sandra lived with her parents on the outskirts of Mogi das Cruzes in São Paulo. She was just an ordinary neighbor, the kind you'd greet daily on the street, but hidden behind that fake smile, she was planning something terrible. You might not believe the actual motive for this heinous crime. She desired funds to embark on a journey to Fernando de Noronha and acquire a vehicle. That's exactly right. For something so futile, she ruined an entire family. The victim was an innocent young boy, merely 14 years of age, named Thaleson. Brace yourself, because this part is enough to drive one mad. Why Thaleson? Get ready, because here's the most infuriating part. Sandra picked Thaleson simply because his parents' house stood out as the prettiest on the street, the only one boasting 2 stories, beautifully adorned, and complete with a 2-car garage. But pay close attention, the family wasn't wealthy, they merely maintained a more organized and presentable home. Nothing more than that. Sandra's greed was so immense that she didn't care at all. Thaleson's mother, Ana Maria, was friends with Sandra. Can you even fathom the agony of learning that your own friend abducted your son? Sandra's accomplice, a minor, a 17-year-old teenager known as Formiga, grabbed Thaleson as he left school in the middle of the day. Picture the utter desperation of this young boy. They concealed him within an unoccupied house owned by the family of Sandra's boyfriend, Valdir. They confined the boy to a room, and each night, extinguished all the lights, ensuring he wouldn't be able to identify his captors. Now, here's the part that will really give you chills. While Thaleson was being held captive, Sandra would visit his parents' home and act as if she were deeply concerned. Can you believe it? She comforted Ana Maria, the desperate mother, made her sugar water to calm her down, and pretended to be the best friend in the world. When Formiga called to demand ransom, Ana Maria answered and fainted from despair. Thaleson's father Antonio took charge. The amount asked? 40,000 reais, a fortune for them. The father's reply broke hearts. We don't have that much. And Sandra's next move? She acted as if she was helping the family, suggesting, try to settle for 30,000. What you're about to read now will leave you speechless. Sandra then took the phone, feigning negotiation with her accomplices. She screamed, listen here you cretins. Thaleson's parents are inconsolable. You're monsters. That amount is out of the question. We can pay 20,000. Can you believe this performance? The woman was literally negotiating with herself. Antonio only managed to get 2,000 from a loan shark. Ana Maria fell into total despair, and here comes the most sickening part. Sandra suggested they start a collection in the neighborhood. Imagine the shamelessness of this woman. That same night, Sandra, Antonio, and Ana Maria went from house to house asking for money to save Thaleson. The kidnapper herself asking for money for herself. After canvassing the neighborhood, they raised 4,500. On the 3rd day, Formiga telephoned once more. In tears, Antonio pleaded, all we have is 4,500 Brazilian reais. In God's name, release my son. The response was truly cruel. Is your son's life really worth just that paltry sum? 10,000, or he dies today. Antonio, desperate, dropped the phone on the floor. Ana Maria cried so loudly the whole neighborhood could hear. A neighbor then suggested calling the police, and that's precisely when Sandra performed her ultimate devilish act. She picked up the phone and persuaded the criminals to take the 4,500 reais. The kidnappers went to retrieve Thaleson for his release. However, an unforeseen event transpired, sealing the young boy's tragic destiny. Prepare yourself. When they opened the door, Thaleson had left the room and was in the living room watching TV. When he saw Sandra, the boy uttered the very words that sealed his fate, signing his own death warrant. Aunt Sandra, you abducted me. I recognized your voice. The boy also recognized Valdir, who played soccer with his father on Sundays. In that moment, Sandra knew there was no turning back. What unfolded next is truly enough to outrage anyone. They bound Thalison, placed a pillowcase over his head, and then tossed him into the trunk of the car. They transported the boy to a place called Prinha, a deserted, muddy piece of land. While driving, Thalison remained silent for such an extended period that the criminals presumed his death. They even started to celebrate. When they arrived, Valdir pointed the gun at Thalison's head, but Sandra had an even more diabolical idea. Wait, don't shoot. Formiga will be the one to kill him. He's 17, a minor. Nothing will happen to him. We would get 30 years in prison. Can you believe it? Even when committing the murder, she sought to escape prison time. Thalison knelt down, gazed into the eyes of his captors, pleading for his life a final time, yet his pleas fell on deaf ears. Formiga pressed the gun to the boy's forehead and fired a single shot. Thalison died instantly, still wearing his school uniform. The criminals buried the body in the mud and left as if nothing had happened. The police figured everything out through Formiga's cell phone. Under pressure, he gave up all his accomplices. The sentences: Sandra got 27 years. Valdir, 30 years in prison. Formiga, socio-educational measures, a minor. Prepare to be indignant. Sandra is already in an open regime. That's right, the woman who planned and carried out this brutal crime is at home, allowed to go out during the day, and do you know where she lives? On Thalison's family's same street. Can you believe it? She is permitted to work and study throughout the day. She only needs to be at home by night and make an appearance in court every fortnight. Thalison's family has to see their son's killer walking down the street every single day. Does this story outrage you? Then imagine how Thalison's family feels, knowing their son's killer is free, living on the same street. What's your take on this? Was justice done, or should Sandra have stayed in longer? How long was she imprisoned? If you're keen on the tales of Tremembe's infamous inmates, follow us to ensure you don't miss anything. We'll be bringing you fascinating stories and cases about these inmates, and all that they did to land themselves in the most popular criminal prison. Please like this video so YouTube understands you enjoyed it, and will recommend more new videos like this as they are released. While you're at it, go ahead and watch the video we've recommended for you, which is appearing on the screen now. All about Daniel and his brother, Christian Cravinhos.